sex outside of marriage is worse than killing a baby. I don't necessarily consider it killing a baby when you have an abortion. So.
Why is abortion an important issue for women?
Because it's our body, our choice.
Because it affects our bodies, our lives, our mental health, everything to do with ourselves.
Women have the right to choose what they want to do with their bodies. So
having the government decide what we do with our own bodies is not the best idea. It's healthcare. It's not government decision.
Would you agree that abortion by and large is consequence-free sex for women?
No. No, it's not.
Why is that?
Oh, that's a good question. Is it consequence-free for men, too? If a woman can decide to have an abortion?
Potentially. I mean, is it consequence-free sex for men and women?
Yeah.
Why are 98% of abortions elective?
Elective?
Like chosen rather than required surgery?
Probably just wrong place, wrong time.
Would you agree that abortion by and large is consequence-free sex for women?
I don't think it should be, no. I feel like it is.
Would you agree that abortion by and large is consequence-free sex for women?
yes, to an extent, yes.
Wouldn't prostitution be consequence-free sex for men, except it wouldn't involve killing of an embryo?
Yes, unfortunately, but
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess technically it's not free sex because you're paying for it. So.
Isn't abortion sex without accountability, while prostitution is sex without liability?
Fair enough, yeah.
I wouldn't say abortion is not sex without accountability. I feel like if you're going for abortion, that's taking accountability for having sex. So.
Do you believe sex is a need or a want?
It's a want, because of lust.
If sex is not a need for men, then why is abortion a need for women? Can't women just masturbate like men?
Women can masturbate like men, but at the same time, women choose to do the abortion because they don't want to deal with the responsibility of having a child when you opened your legs or whatever you did to make that child, so you don't want to take the responsibility for that.
So then wouldn't that mean that abortion is consequence-free sex for women?
It is. You're absolutely right.
Why is prostitution seen as more disgusting than abortion would be seen as disgusting?
Having multiple sex partners is, it's nasty.
Because it's socially accepted. Abortion is socially accepted, as opposed to seeing a woman on the corner and seeing her in provocative clothing. You're like automatically judging, as opposed to seeing someone, not knowing someone's going into a clinic and going under that procedure. It's just more socially accepted.
Abortion it covers so many people. Women indicate over 50% of the population.
And prostitution, I think, if you're a consenting adult and you want to do that, like in Amsterdam, they regulate it. They have safety measures in place and someone is agreeing to do that. If you want to have an abortion, it's because you are not either mentally, financially, there's so many other reasons you wouldn't be able to take care of that child, and you wouldn't be able to give it a good life.
Why is a woman more entitled to killing a baby that's being formed than a man fulfilling his sexual needs?
Well, because a man holds a lot of power within the cum. Let's say that. Like, of course, a woman has a uterus and is able to provide life and have and make life, but a man is also key to forming life.
Why do women claim to be the creators of life when the child is wanted, yet as soon as the pregnancy is unplanned, it suddenly becomes the man's fault for not wearing a condom?
See, I believe it's both persons' responsibility, not just the man's. So.
Which of the following is worse? Sex outside marriage or killing a baby?
Killing a baby.
Sex outside marriage, I guess.
I would say, yeah, sex outside of marriage is worse than killing a baby. I don't necessarily consider it killing a baby when you have an abortion. So.
Why is abortion more socially acceptable than prostitution?
That is a good question. I'm actually not sure about that one. That is a very good question.
If sex is a need within marriage, why would it be any less of a need outside marriage?
I don't really know how to answer that one, actually.
prostitution was made legal, even though they act like it's illegal. It was made legal in like places like Vegas or LA, so it's a lot more open. You go down the right streets and you'll just see prostitution openly Versus when people say, oh, just killing the innocent baby, da-da-da-da, but they don't see how prostitution, you're 9 out of 10, they're going to get pregnant too.
Why wouldn't pro-lifers want to legalize safe and regulated prostitution to minimize unwanted pregnancies?
It's kind of a catch-22 with that one. It's still frowned upon in today's society, I suppose.
Wouldn't that reduce the need for abortions? I mean, doesn't a man need sex a lot more often than a woman needs an abortion?
That's true. Yes. Yes, you got me there. Yes.
Men feel they need sex more.
If sex is a need within marriage, why wouldn't it be any less of a need outside marriage?
Because when you do it outside of marriage, you create something like a baby, and you basically don't. Some couples don't end up together, so you're basically on your own and you're struggling with the baby. And nowadays, babies are they're not cheap. So you doing it on your own and being independent, which I do love independent women, but at the same time, you still need a man in your life. That's why marriage is important, because a man will always be by your side and always be there in the marriage and with your children.
If a lot of men don't want to get married, what are men supposed to do to fulfill those needs?
I guess premarital sex.
Why should abortion be cheap and accessible any more than prostitution should be cheap and accessible?
Well, sometimes
Abortion is not cheap.
it's
I
not
could tell
cheap,
you that.
yeah.
That shit's almost $1,000.
Yeah.
Have you seen the price of prostitution?
I could
Depending on the woman, the
can't
the caliber of her experience, the looks, and her physical appearance.
If a man has to drive to a different state to get a prostitute, why shouldn't a woman have to drive to a different state to get an abortion?
I don't really think it's the same. Like, I guess, like, you know, like I said, like, sex is more of like a want. And so, you know, if you're wanting to drive to a different state to get a prostitute or do whatever you got to do to fulfill your needs, you know, that's whatever. That's your decision. But, you know, if you have something happen to you and you need a way out of it, like getting an abortion from an unwanted pregnancy, it should be accessible in your state. You shouldn't have to drive across the country to do that.
Which of the following is worse? A woman's fear of getting pregnant or a man's fear of 18 years of child support?
Both. I think they're equally.
Pregnancy.
How would the overturning of Roe versus Wade benefit men when men are now more likely to get baby trapped?
Baby trapped is insane.
Baby trapped, as you say. What's to say they won't just walk away without and leaving the consequences that they did technically create?
And it's much easier for a man to walk away, move out of the country, move out of state and hide, than it is for a woman who has to carry something in their body for 9 months and then deal with the consequences of that for the rest of her life.
Why would women blame men for taking away rights if it ends up also hurting men in the process?
But how does it hurt men?
Because men are more likely to get stuck paying child support for kids that they didn't want.
I don't know. I think you have a good point there. So,
Because some men don't want to step up and be dads, so it shouldn't matter what they feel. Women's is the one that got to go through body changes for 9 months.
It hurts their pockets. It doesn't hurt them emotionally. It doesn't hurt them to the aspect of a woman's emotions.
But I do see the controversy in men and women in that sense too, because a lot of women are grimy as and will pull the, well, you know, I am going to get the security and we are going to use the state and you're going to pay for my baby, but you can't see him or them, you know. I see that controversy right there.
What reproductive rights do men have in the first place?
Do they have any? None? I want to say none.
Why is it if a woman can't pay for her baby, she gets government assistance, but if a man can't pay for his baby, he goes to jail?
I don't know why, but I do not think it's fair whatsoever.
I feel like it's the same reason why women have to be forced to hold on to a baby that they may not want or the dad might not want, but the men are just able to dodge child support with no problem and lead the women to do it by themselves.
Why is it when a father abandons his child, we call him a deadbeat dad, but when a woman aborts her child, we call it her choice?
Because people listening to society, it is her choice. Why do dads get to be out in the clubs and having a great time while the woman at home taking care of baby by herself? But women go out, they whores and they this and that and they fast and you know they should be a better mom and stuff like that. Men don't get judged as hard.
Why is my body, my choice acceptable when it comes to abortion, but not when it comes to prostitution?
Good question. We got to definitely discuss that. I don't know why that's okay. I feel like if that's okay, then we should be okay. If that's okay with abortion, then we should be okay with prostitution.
Shouldn't it be just as much a man's body, his choice to buy sex, as it's a woman's body, her choice to sell sex?
Of course.
The same way it should be a woman's choice to have a baby or not, or keep it. keep it or not.
Why are women quick to accept a woman who can sell sex, but are quick to shame a man who can buy sex?
Because men they make it uncomfortable sometimes. They whistle you walking down the street. They walk up to you, chase you down at the gas station. It's uncomfortable. You can't wear what you want to wear. You get looked at a certain way. So it's very uncomfortable being a woman sometimes. It's very hard.
Would you agree that a healthy sex life is part of a person's well-being?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the term sexually frustrated?
Yes.
Why is it when it comes to healthcare, people think it should be a right, but when it comes to sex, it should be a privilege?
I'm not sure why they do. But again, that's not very fair in retrospect for either, so.
Aren't they both part of a person's well-being?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are they both so unaffordable?
I honestly don't know, but I, again, don't agree with it.
I guess just because that's how it is in America. I mean, you know, it's not a privilege to have health care in any circumstance, whether it's abortion or not. You got to pay for it.
Why should abortion be covered under health care any more than prostitution would?
Medical procedure, I guess.
I've never had a problem struggling to pay for you know, to afford sex. Not that I'm out here paying for it, but I wouldn't say that it's like unaffordable for most people. If you're in a happy relationship or find someone that's attractive to you like you are to them, you know,
Isn't it
should be pretty easy.
Isn't it far easier for a woman to get sex than it is for a man? I mean, women don't typically go to prostitutes, men do, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't know because I'm not a man. So.
Okay. If women no longer have to go through men to acquire finances, why are men still expected to go through women to acquire sex?
Truthfully, don't know. That's a really good question, actually.
What needs are women being deprived that they're forced to be with men?
None that I'm aware of.
What needs are women being deprived that they're forced to be with men?
The finances.
Well, women have equal employment opportunities. They can acquire their own finances without relying on a man.
The laziness. They want the easy route out, and which is OnlyFans, prostitution, so many other outlets of just exposing their body for money.
Isn't that privilege that men don't have?
No, not all the time.
There's a good amount of men on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, it's not even close to the majority. I mean, it's a very small minority compared to women, right? So women by and large have the opportunity to use their body and what was given to them and take the easy way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the problem. Should women be taxed on their income and use that money to subsidize prostitution for men?
They could, but I don't think so, no.
Why do we currently tax men's income to subsidize women's needs?
Because the world holds men accountable.